Okay. All right, great. Nice to see everyone. Welcome. Just a couple quick things about Zoom. So I'm going to mute all the microphones, and if you could leave them unmuted just for the class, you should still be able to hear me. I know that sometimes there's a bit of confusion on unmute, or that microphone makes you think you can hear me, but it actually makes me hear you, which is okay. But for the class, let's keep it all muted. This allows you to cuss and vent any frustration at me as well, so that's nice, and I won't hear it. Anyway, so for today's class, we're going to kind of understand the difference and the similarity between mind and body, which is often talked about in yoga. So mind and body are conceptually things that we discuss, right? And when we say body, we're kind of relating to things on a anatomical or physiological or tangible, like physically tangible. And when we talk about mind, we're usually talking about thoughts, feelings, goals, things like that. Well, in yoga, we kind of use both to access both. So you can use the mind to access the body, and you can use the body to access the mind. The way we often live, it's usually mind is accessing the body. So we're really stuck in our heads, and we're focused on judgments and criticisms and life goals and things like that. But today, we're going to try that reverse relationship of the body accessing the mind and kind of illuminating what happens in the mind. And to give you an example of how these are tethered together, if I asked you to imitate someone who is very sad and emotionally upset, you'd probably go like this. You know, you'd collapse the chest in. You'd kind of withdraw away. Like, if I'm back here, you might be able to see it. A sadder person might be like sunken in, right? And if I asked you to imitate someone who is overtly proud or aggressive, you'd probably see a puffed up chest. You know, it's very aggressive standpoint. It's exerting forward. So today, in some of the yoga poses, we're going to come into a pose, one of them being warrior two, and we're going to hold it. And we're going to try to access, what does this pose show up in my body? What does it show about my mind? Okay, it's a bit weird, but when we get into it, it'll begin to make more sense. So yeah, go ahead and we'll start from the beginning. Come to a cross-legged seated position on your mat. You can sit on a chair for this part because we'll be here for several minutes. No bother with that. Okay, so we're gonna tap into breathing. Okay, we're gonna continue some of the stuff that we've already done before. So first, let's just check in. Hands on knees or thighs, comfortably tall spine. Sit however you need to, legs forward or on the chair or crossed. Just close your eyes and start just becoming aware of your breath. And let's cultivate a gentle curiosity. So what that means is that you're just kind of mentally, you're looking at the body, accessing what's happening here. No judgment, no thought process on it, no criticism, just aware, becoming aware of it. How's my breath? Am I hurting anywhere? Is there any tension? Am I breathing shallowly or deeply? Okay, so this is the way of the mind accessing the body. Now let's flip it. Begin to start breathing very slowly, very fluidly, and through the nose. Good. Start to allow the belly to expand, the chest to rise. Allow everything to come out on the exhale. Maybe you push the belly in a little bit at the bottom of the exhale. Start to notice how the spine kind of casually lifts up on the inhale, how you feel a bit light. And as you exhale, you feel a bit of grounding or rooting down from the tailbone. We'll add a little bit to that. So now as you inhale, imagine that you're expanding in all directions. So not only up and down, but forward, back, left to right. And as you exhale, you're collapsing in on all directions. I know for some of us, breathing can be kind of an issue. So another thing we'll do for a few breaths is to just focus on your chest and your belly. So just send your attention there. Remember that what the body or what the mind thinks the body prepares for. So send the attention to that area, the chest, the belly, the back. As you inhale, how much of your skin can you feel expand and just getting bigger? And how much can you feel tactilely of it coming back in as you collapse? So how much of your body can you feel open on the inhale? How much can you feel it collapsing back in? Good. And now that we've used the body to calm everything down, how does the mind feel? So kind of creating, what is the body's perception of your thoughts? For instance, maybe the body feels nice and calm and relaxed now, but the mind is continuing to race or to obsess over things I need to get done or should have done. Using the body to access the mind, 5 more breaths. Just becoming gently aware. Good. So stay here and just listen gently. We're going to add one of the staggered breathing techniques that we've tried before. So listen closely. What we'll do is that on an inhale, you're going to fill up your belly, your midsection, and then the top of the chest. And as you exhale, the top of the chest collapses in, the midsection collapses in, and the belly comes in. Okay, so as we inhale, we want to feel like we're rolling open from the base of the belly up to the top of the chest. And as we exhale, we're going to collapse in from the top of the chest down to the belly. So it's like a nice wave up, wave down. Okay? So let's first prepare for that. Take a nice big inhale through the nose. Sigh it out. Now inhale, fill up the belly to mid to top. Exhale from the top to mid to belly. Just give it a try. 3 more times. If it's difficult, just imagine what it would feel like. Good. Big inhale through the nose. Gentle sigh this time. Okay. So now we're just going to come into some of those side stretching, side movements. So inhale, reach your right hand up, nice and as high as you can go. And exhale, lean over to the left. You can bring your hand down for support. And just stay here for a few breaths. Try to keep your chest still forward. Breathe into the right side of the body. Allow that lung to open up more. Good. Now on the next inhale, reach both hands straight up. And exhale, reach forward, but you're just reaching forward, and pause about halfway. Arms stay parallel towards the ground or further up if need be. Take a few breaths here. Notice you have to stabilize through the hips, through the pelvis now. Inhale, reach all the way back up. As you exhale, right hand comes down and lean over towards the right. And stay here for a side stretch. Good. Breathe into the left lung. Good. Inhale, reach all the way back up. Exhale, prayer hands behind your head a bit. So the prayer hands kind of point down behind the neck. Now, your head naturally comes forward a bit here. That's okay. Try to bring your head back up a little bit without causing too much tension. Let the ribs kind of go up or the chest elevate. And then send a little bit of tension to your elbows and try to make them come further apart or further back. Yes, the upper back is going to get a little intense here. Breathe, and can you maintain that calm breath? Good. Inhale, reach all the way back up, open the palms. And then exhale the hands into a prayer position. Take a few moments and just breathe how you'd like to breathe and notice what you notice. Good. So from here, we're going to move into some twists. Take your right hand to your left knee. Left hand comes behind you. Okay. And the left hand comes behind to stabilize, to keep your chest nice and up. Remember, with twisting, we want to be very sensitive. So we're going to twist 3 times. The first time you go about half the distance. So challenge yourself to go halfway. Okay. This is very important because it teaches you to not do the most or be in that goal-driven mindset, you know? So take an inhale. Exhale, twist a little bit. Challenge yourself. A little twist with the chest. As you inhale, you come right back out of the twist. And as you exhale, you go back in, maybe 60 or 70%, just slightly further. As you inhale, you come right back out. And this time, twist as far as you feel like you'd like to go and stay. Remember what we learned before, the spine is trying to be stacked and elevated. Okay. The low back is relaxed to the point that you can feel the stretch along the entire spine. And the head is slightly turned as well. And slowly unwind back to seated prayer, hands on knees, and just take a moment here to let the body set. Very good. So switch the other side, left hand to right knee, right hand comes behind you. Comfortably elevated spine. Inhale. Exhale, twist halfway. Pause. Inhale, come out. Exhale, twist 60, maybe 70%. Allow that right shoulder blade to roll back. And you inhale, come right back out. And now exhale, go to the twist that you'd like to experience and pause. Whenever we hold a static posture in yoga, it is a wonderful opportunity to use the body to access what's happening in the head. Good, and slowly come back out. Take both hands on the knees. A few breaths here. Good, and let's do a couple of head rolls. Just nice and slow and big. Just make gentle circles with the head. And if you can keep the shoulders and the chest nice and relaxed, hopefully you notice that as you roll the head left to right, you even feel the shoulders kind of move. And maybe you even feel this all the way down the spine. Because remember from last class, everything is connected. So any movement could be felt throughout the entire system. Switch directions of the head. But you're only going to feel that if the body is relaxed. Remember the example of the string. Good and great. So, okay, go ahead and come on to standing. So we're going to do a bit of Qigong, just because I love it. It's also just wonderful moving meditation. So you can wiggle out the legs a bit because you've been sitting in a static pose for a while. So carrying on what we've talked about before, how do I explain this? So when we move in Qigong, it's a good way of showing this. I got it. Okay. So just bring your feet hip width distance apart. Okay. And I want you to just move your hips and your pelvis. You're just twisting. Okay. Now, what I'm doing here is something very casual. My arms are not moving because I want them to. Note this. My arms are moving because I'm relaxed up there. And my pelvis is turning left to right. And because the spine and all that is connected, the arms are flopping around. Now, if I wanted to bring a bit of force into my arms, I can keep them by my side, right? Because I'm forcing this to happen. So come back to just flopping your arms left to right, okay? Now I want you to add the tiniest little bit of effort to make your arms come wider like I'm doing here. So just reaching a little bit further out. So you kind of have this little bit of effort to make this nice and fluid of a motion. So the origination of my arms moving is coming from my hips. It's coming from my legs. It's coming from the waist down. I'm just giving a little bit of effort into the arms to make it look nice and fluid and connected, okay? So this is the balance between effort and ease, between understanding gravity and all that jazz. So go ahead and relax, shake out the legs. So in Qigong, that is precisely what we're doing. When we do this posture, which we've done before, we inhale, come down, okay? Done this before a few times, okay? If you look, I'm gonna speed it up. The weight of my arms coming up, I'm pushing into the floor, which is sending my arms up, and I just add a little bit of direction to it so it's together, okay? Just like if someone were to jump, okay? They do that from the force of the ground, pushing in, the ricochet effect, we lift up, okay? So let's come into the Qigong, wide leg stance, heels in, toes slightly out. Okay, you can bend the knees as much as you'd like, as long as they stay mostly near where the heel is. Curl the core in, palms forward. Now, with this swinging example we did before, but now we're coming up and down, okay? So as you inhale, push into the floor, lift up your arms, swing up. As you exhale, everything falls down, bend the knees. Very good. Keep that going. So this movement should be originating from the floor. As you inhale, you push into the floor, which sends the spine up, lifts the arms. As you exhale, you allow that energy to transfer back down. Keep going at your own pace now. Maybe you close your eyes and come back into that example that we did Flailing the arms left to right. How interconnected can you make this? How minimally directive can you make this? So the arms naturally come up. Just the tiniest bit of effort, you make it a bit more graceful. Couple more. Close the eyes. Feel the arms climb. Feel the whole body get heavy. Good. On the next exhale, you're going to bring your hands to a prayer position, and you're going to stay in the squat. Keep the breath here. Keep that focus. As I inhale, because the whole system is expanding from the lung out, there's a minor push onto the floor through the feet. As you exhale, there's a minor surrender. The system is collapsing in, you're becoming heavier. Try to tap into that. If we put little scales under your feet, it would detect this minor weight difference. Three more breaths. Good, and slowly come out, give the legs a nice shake. So as you probably already know now, there's a lot going on in yoga. There's a lot going on in Qigong. Mentally, physically, spiritually, a lot to consider. And we're gonna add a little bit more. So this is another Qigong that I just wanna show you first, so watch. Okay, it's also known as horse stance. So it's a wide-legged squat that we've done before. One hand is going to come up to just above my heart. One hand is going to come below. And this move, I'm holding a ball is what it kind of feels like, a ball of energy, okay? But this time, as I inhale, I push into the floor. Both arms come out and I release. I'm slightly arched up. And as I exhale, I switch the location of the hands, hold. And I inhale, come out, exhale, hold. So what you want to feel here, there's a slight pause. So when you come all the way down, there's a moment when you lock. And this lock isn't the body becoming stiff, but it's that moment where the palms feel like there's a tiny line of energy between them, okay? Like if I held it here, this would feel unnatural. If I held the ball here, it would feel unnatural. Right there, it feels natural to me. To you, it'll change. It'll depend on who you are and how you move. But you want to feel this as you exhale, you come down. I'm so grounded here that I could not be pushed over. Okay? So one hand on top, one hand on bottom, bend the knees, curl the core in slightly. Okay? So you're protecting this area, this little circle in front of all your vital organs. Relax, the shoulders are nice and relaxed. Now as we move, inhale, release, open up a slight arch of the back. Exhale, gather the energy, switch the arms, feel that grounding lock. And then as you inhale, you release out. Exhale, gather. Keep going. Can you feel that moment that as you exhale and you come down, that you actually do hold on to this little ball of energy right in the center of you? Also continue to connect with that sensation of when we move, it's a slight direction, We're just using a little bit of attention to send the arms out and the arms back in. But the majority of this movement is originating from the feet and the legs, climbing and surrendering. 2 more. I know the thighs are probably going to be bursting. It's okay. 1 more. Pause here and hold. Think about the line between the palms that's connecting each. Good. Slowly come out. Give the legs a nice shake. So we're doing that because we're going to be coming into Warrior 2 today, which is a stronger pose. It's going to take a little bit of thigh strength and hip opening, as well as strengthening, actually. But before we do that, let's come into the mountain forward fold halfway lift that we've done before. Just to recap, remember, feet are hip width distant apart. I'll just show you 1 set. I'm going to inhale, reach up. I'm exhaling, going to bow forward with a very long spine. Bend the knees as you come down as you need. As I inhale, I come up halfway. I flatten the spine. Then as I exhale, I fold forward. Notice my knees are bent. Then as I inhale, I reach my arms forward, come all the way back up. And I exhale the hands into prayer. Okay? So let's give it a go. Remember, you come down and you fold forward as far as you feel is comfortable. So feet hip width distant apart. Inhale, reach your hands up to a nice tall mountain. Exhale, bow forward, bend the knees. Inhale to a halfway lift, flatten the spine, shoulder blades are back. Exhale, forward fold, let it drop. Inhale, reach forward and up, strong legs here, strong abs. Exhale the hands, settle into prayer. Again, inhale, reach up, tall mountain. Exhale, bow, bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach forward and up, strong, strong legs. And exhale the hands into prayer and pause here. So one of the reasons we teach, or I teach, Qigong with yoga, especially for more beginners courses, is that it captures the essence of what you're doing with the breath to movement. Do you remember when we were inhaling, reaching wide and up, there was this expansion, and as we exhale, there's a collapse, a kind of heaviness or a weight that comes down. This same ethos is in this movement. As you inhale, we'll pause at actually each pose for a breath. So go ahead and inhale, reach forward and up to tall mountain. Stay here. As you inhale here, do you feel this openness? Good. And as you exhale, go ahead and bow forward. Feel that surrender, that weight drawing you down to the floor. Inhale to a halfway lift, stay there. Feel that openness. Stay for the exhale. Another inhale. Exhale, feel the bow, feel the relax, feel the let go. Inhale, reach forward and up, tall mountain. Feel that rise. Exhale, feel the surrender, hands to prayer. Let's do 1 more full set. Inhale, reach up, feel open. Exhale, bow, feel the surrender, the weight, the fall. Inhale, halfway lift, feel the openness, the strength. Exhale, forward fold, let it go. Inhale, reach forward and up, expand, get big. Exhale, surrender into prayer. 2 breaths here, try to feel the same thing without moving. Good, so shake out the legs. So we're coming into our big pose for this morning, which is Warrior 2. So I'm going to show you this pose first. I know some of you are quite familiar with it. So Warrior two. There we go, looks like this. So this pose looks different for everyone, okay? You can try it if you want, but please keep an ear out. Look at the length between my feet. So if I want to go more difficult, my right foot comes much further forward, okay? And I have a much longer stance. This requires much more strength. It also requires more body awareness because oftentimes the back can kind of arch out, the low back, which means I have to curl the core in, which is due to tight hips. Okay, this is warrior two. This is also warrior two. I'm that far. This is still warrior two. Okay, so you want to work within your means, work with where your body's at, not where you want your body to be. Okay, very important distinction. And when you work from where your body's at, it's much safer, frankly, and you're not setting yourself up for failure. So bend the right knee on top of the right heel, back leg nice and straight. Okay, choose your stance mindfully. Okay, now go ahead and bring your hands to your hips first. Send your right hand to the inside of your right knee on the left side. And just try to bring the right knee a bit further to the right. Now stay there. You should hopefully feel that your upper right glute, or the area, kind of the upper right butt cheek, should be flexing. Okay, it should feel strong. It should feel tight. The inside of your hip, of the right hip on the left side, should feel like it's getting a bit of a stretch. Okay? Your chest is still facing right. Go ahead and let the arms come back out. We're just gonna stay here for a couple breaths. Relax the shoulders so they should feel very comfortable. Arms are just reaching forward and back, and you're looking over your right fingertips. Good, and come out, shake it out. We're gonna do it twice on each side. The first side is just, or the first time is just to learn what the pose is. So try the opposite side. Left leg forward. Yeah, I'll show you from this angle. So left knee bend, okay? Remember, chest is still facing towards the right. Your core needs to work, so you need to curl the abs in a bit. You need to kind of tuck the belly in a bit, okay? So your low back should feel very relaxed here. Palms out. The left, upper left butt cheek area, for lack of a better term, it's your external hip flexor, but a lot of we don't know what that is. So it's just your upper left cheek should be kind of flexed a bit, okay? You should feel a stretch in the hips, especially the left hip. Palms are relaxed, face down. Just take a couple breaths here. Evaluate if you've taken too long of a stance or maybe not long enough. Good, and come out, give it a shake. So now we're going to do the same pose, both sides. We're gonna hold it for 5 breaths. Try to have these be 5 full, comfortable breaths. And in this one, we're going to access the mind through the body. So we're holding a static pose, okay? And we're gonna kind of see what shows up in thoughts. So I ask that maybe you take a slightly longer length between your feet, so a little bit more challenging. Please walk away from it if it hurts at all. We avoid pain completely. But just notice what happens with the mind when we stay there. So right foot forward, set it up, right knee on top of right heel, core tucked in a little bit, palms out, relax, look over the right fingertips. Maybe you go a little bit further with your legs. Maybe you crawl that right foot forward slightly, maybe half an inch will do it. Stay and breathe very slowly through the nose, fully and comfortably for 5. Close the eyes if you can. Now stay here. We've gone through 5. Do 5 more. Good. Slowly come out. Shake out the legs. So for many of us, chances are some thoughts arise. I thought he said only 5. Or my legs are going to burst. Or I wish I was more flexible. Okay. So a lot of stuff can arise in warrior postures, or a lot of ego can arise. Like, I wish I could do this further or harsher or longer. So we're going to go to the opposite side now. And this time, we're going to try to imagine, what is this pose teaching? So what is the body teaching the mind? Just like how runners will run marathons and they will learn this sense of calm that lasts after the run. So that physical activity has taught the mind how to be calmer. Okay, so let's come into warrior 2 on the left side. Bend the left knee, set it up, arms out. Okay, strong left thigh. Maybe you heel toe that left foot slightly further. Just a few centimeters will do it. Stay for 5 breaths. Can you keep that breath calm and fluid? What is the pose teaching? All right, 5 more, why not? Good, and slowly come out, wiggle the shoulders, wiggle the legs. Maybe pick up the knees one at a time. That can give you a nice little stretch across the glute and a bit across the thigh. So when we shift, and you may not have experienced it, and there's no issue with that if you didn't, but when we shift the perspective of what is the body teaching versus what is the mind thinking, things like that, you can pick up different aspects. So you may have been in that warrior position and thought, my body is teaching me a bit of strength, a bit of composure, a bit of stillness, even though the pose becomes a bit challenging over time. If we stayed here for 4 or 5 minutes, it'd be a very different story. So we're going to end class in a 5 or 6 meditation onto the ground. And we're going to use a bit of that of what is the body going to illuminate and teach me there. Okay. So it's going to do one more forward fold, half sun salutation, just to get things moving, get the legs going. So feet are hip width distant apart. Okay. Inhale, reach up, tall mountain. Exhale, bow forward, bend the knees, long spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach forward and up, slight back bend. Exhale, hands to prayer. One more time, why not? Inhale, reach up. Bow. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach. Hands to prayer. Stay here for 2. Good. So from here, just gonna come into Shavasana. You can use a blanket if you want or put, blanket or something over the eyes. If you want to keep the eyes nice and closed. So Shavasana, the arms are out, palms are facing up. Legs are nice and relaxed. And just take a few minutes here get into the pose. Let the body settle. So what we're going to do in this position is a guided meditation. Remember, when we give what the mind thinks or gives attention to, the body prepares for. So we're going to use that to access the body. And then a little later, we're going to ask the body a question. And the body is going to hopefully respond. And I'll unpack that after class, what that means. Good. So for now, relax the jaw. Breathe casually through the nose, relaxed. And with each exhale, just feel the body surrendering a little bit more. Good. Now imagine that your body is an ice sculpture of itself, laying on the floor in the position that you are. Imagine that painted over this ice is a technicolor coat of all the hopes, dreams, goals, desires, criticisms, everywhere, all in different colors. You notice your job. You notice your identities. There's my partner. There's my family member. Your whole life painted around you, on top of the ice. Now with each exhale, imagine the ice is slowly beginning to melt, very slowly. As you begin to feel gravity more intimately, as the ice begins to melt and expand in all directions, much like ice on a countertop. Slowly the body, with each exhale, melts further into the floor. Eventually, just your head and face remain. Almost floating on a pool. And then with 2 more exhales, so too does the head melt and drop. With each exhale, your consciousness drops a little further down. And on the surface, you notice all the hopes, dreams, goals, wishes. All that paint and color remains floating on the top of your pool as you slowly begin to descend further and further down. Eventually, the surface begins to fade from view. As you fall deeper into the subconscious. As you fall further away from all those things that make you, you. With each exhale, you drift further into the space of the non-self, the space of the non-identity. The space of freedom, the space of being truly open. It is here, with the most gentle approach, the most soft question, and we'll hold it for about 10 breaths. Ask the body, ask your subconscious self, what is it that I need to hear? Keep open to it. What is it I need to hear? Good. Now from here, with the tiniest touch, keep a slight contact with whatever showed up. And with each inhale, notice that casual lifting, floating sensation. And with each exhale, you pause. Inhale, we float slightly further towards the surface. And as we exhale, we stay. Inhale up. Exhale, stay. Inhale up. Exhale, stay. Slowly, the surface becomes in view. Slowly begin to notice the world around you. Eventually, the head comes to surface. And slowly, the water begins to pool back into the shape of you. Slowly, the legs assemble. The arms assemble. The belly assembles. Details begin to become etched. The paint wraps around the body. Only this time, you remain water and have the ability to move that which needs to be moved. No longer stiff, but fluid. No longer attached, but unattached. And deep inside, you keep that little contact with whatever showed up. Whatever truth may have been revealed. Keep that present. Good. Now begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, move the ankles and wrists. And when you're ready, you take a nice inhale, just reach up and back, stretch the legs, roll over to the right or left hand side in a laying fetal position with the elbows and knees bent. This asana that we all mastered for several months in our mother. The origination of our body. Take 3 breaths here, Send some gratitude and appreciation for the body revealing what it needed to reveal. Good, and slowly come up to a cross-legged seated position. Take your time. And just bring hands to prayer. You can be sitting on a chair if you'd like. You can have your legs forward. Take whatever comfort position that would work for you. We'll end practice in a sigh and a bow. Inhale through the nose. Inhale your thumbs up to the third eye, let the chest rise. And exhale, bow. Namaste. Thank you very much for coming. You're welcome to unmute your mic if you'd like and ask any question. I do have a couple notes about that practice. So we talk about mind and body a lot, you know, and it's a very trendy word in wellness circles. But in a yogic tradition, we're actually kind of walking away from that whole concept entirely. We can use them to access what we're discussing, like if a bodily issue or a mind issue, a thought versus what the body's doing. But over time, through the process of yoga, you really learn that they're completely inseparable. Okay, that's kind of the first key learning, is that the mind and the body are the same material, and that you can access both through both, and there's no separation. But the second, which is the harder learning, is that then you realize that they're meaningless, which is, you know, way longer, further down the yoga line. And I'm certainly not there, but you start to walk away from even the concept of material into like the collective unconscious, the collective conscious, or collective unconscious, or God, or whatever you can use to access that bigger picture. But that's really the next step, and that takes years of practice. That's all. So I would ask that throughout maybe today, you can notice how am I standing and what am I teaching myself by standing this way. Like if I slouch over, what feeling is arising? If I'm trying to appear stronger and bigger, what feeling is arising? And